now joining us is Matthew Bishop. He's the U.S. business editor of The Economist magazine. He's also the co-author of a new book. It's called The Road from Ruin: How to Revive Capitalism and Put America Back on Top. It really looks at the financial crisis and then looking forward. Matthew, great to have you here with us. You're listening to Paul Volcker. First of all, the Volcker Rule, does it make sense?
Well, Paul Volcker is one of the characters we actually feature in the book because he has said a lot of very wise things about this crisis, particularly about the failure of values and there being too much short-termism in the system. But I think here with this rule, he's trying to do something sensible, which is to stop taxpayers having to pick up the losses when bankers do reckless things that turn out to fail. But unfortunately, the world has moved on, that we are in a global economy now, and the kind of rules that he's proposing, the Volcker Rule, is just too narrow to be workable. And I think we've just seen him, be exposed to a lot of questions that have highlighted how there are so many ways round the rule as he's defined it.
It wasn't at the crux of what caused the problems, was it?
Well, it was part of the problem, which is that a lot of banks were gambling with money, knowing that the taxpayer would come to the rescue. But unfortunately, it wasn't the main cause of the problem, which was a really short-term culture where people just focused on getting as rich in the banking industry as they could as quickly as possible and not really worrying too much about the consequences.
All right, we're going to be covering Wall Street for a long time. Obviously, the economy plays crucially into that. I mean, it is all about the economy at this point again.
It is, and I think what we have a risk of is that we're going to go back in to a long down, difficult economy unless the government starts to get to grips with a series of reforms. And the goal of my book is to actually say, we do need to recognise that capitalism has really run up against the buffers and it's got into real difficulties in America, and we need some radical reforms. My problem with Mr. Volcker's proposals is that they're not the right reforms because they don't embrace the fact that we're in a global economy now and that America's got to be competitive. If you put in place the Volcker Rule, a lot of money will just leave America and go to Switzerland and Germany or China or whatever. It's just not going to actually help the American economy recover.